This is Stephanie, and this is the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Hey guys, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to let you know about something that's a little new here at the Mocha Minutes Podcast. We are now participating in Buy Me a Coffee. So if you haven't heard, buymeacoffee.com is a place where you can show some support and some love monetarily to some of your favorite content creators. That includes me. So it's in the increments of either $1, $3, or $5, and you can do as many as you would like. So I just wanted to let you guys know, would love some support. So if you would go to buymeacoffee.com/Mocha Minutes, I would greatly appreciate it. It will also be in the show notes. Okay, here we go. Whatever you want from me, giving you everything. I'm your baby tonight. You giving me ecstasy. You are my fantasy. I'm your baby tonight. Looks like I'm fatal odds all on the table, and baby, you hold the cards. You got the magic and I gotta have it. I don't want the pieces on. I'll be your angel. I'm ready and able. Whatever you want is fun. Whatever you're ready, just call on your lady. I'll be your baby tonight. Yeah. So full disclosure, I've recorded this like one little part, and mind you, I still keep making the same mistake several different times. Whitney Houston, may she rest in peace, did this in one take. And according to her, because there's a clip going around where she's talking about this and said it was by design, Babyface, it's like he wanted her to mess up and not do it in one take, and she did it in one take. I still don't know, but it's also... she had the songwriter there. So hello, welcome to the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Welcome back. Just want to thank all of you for riding with me. It's around this time where professionally work gets like work, and then also personally, this is getting closer to Father's Day. And it's always, from going this point forward, it's always going to be a weird day for me. It's always going to be weird. Because I just miss him. And I'm always going to miss him. There's never going to be a time where I don't miss him or wish that he was here to make me laugh, or me to share something with him, or me to just talk to him, or just watch him do things. My father was the kind of person who, if he didn't know how to do something, he literally would research it. Like, they were like, when he would like work on cars, he like, and this is back in the day, pre-Google, he used to go get the books out of the library. But, you know, post-Google, he would Google stuff. And he would look up like, oh, okay. He's like, as soon as he saw a part of it, he'd be like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what to do. I know how to fix this. So that's kind of thing that I find so just magical about my dad, because I think that is why when people talk about education, and I was like, yeah, y'all can say it all you want, y'all can talk about all these degrees that y'all have, but one of the smartest people I know had a GED. Being intelligent does not mean holding degrees, and I'm saying that as someone with a bachelor's degree. Being intelligent and very skilled has nothing to do with a degree. And he was like, for me, my shining example. Let me just change the subject before I start crying. So welcome to the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Okay. Now, y'all know I'm not a sporty girl. Y'all know I don't do the shooty hoops. But in about the last week and a half, somebody with a 5 head and somebody who looks like his breath stink has literally said multiple things. And I'm like, sir, can you just shut up and watch people dribble? Can you stop talking? But he can't, right? He can't stop talking. And the person I'm talking about is the man who is the host of First Take. First Take is a interesting dynamic because essentially Stephen A. Smith is just inviting people up here so he could yell. And for some odd reason, because there is there's a great white hope for the WNBA. I said it. All of a sudden, you're watching more analysts talk about the WNBA. So let me pull back 1 second. I find it very interesting that some of the same folks who weeks ago was telling Angel Reese that she needs to grin and bear it and suck it up. You wanted to be the villain. This is what you wanted. You wanted to be with the big boys and the big girls, and you want to be like here when she was a whole college student in college. And the reason why she was tearing up is because she got the question about, how does it feel like this is like potentially your last college game, and that's what she was feeling. But I digress. Y'all were telling her to grin and bear it, but then watching some of the same folks saying y'all need to be nicer to Caitlin Clark, and y'all should be thanking her for all the eyes that's being brought to the WNBA. Just because you needed a non-melanated mascot to watch the better version of the shooty hoops, which is the WNBA, that does not mean that y'all should be literally throwing rose petals or palms at the feet of Caitlin Clark, considering that she literally is a rookie. Add in the fact that she was not selected to the U.S. Olympic team for the Summer Olympics, and y'all are literally saying it's a grave injustice. For a rookie who has not demonstrated, who does not have the tenure in the WNBA to actually warrant even a consideration. The only reason why she's being considered is because of #y'all. One of the people that's actually on the team for the WNBA literally just made history, and that was Miss Asia Wilson. But y'all don't care about that, right? The thing about it is that for quite a few people, and I'm saying this as somebody who don't watch the shooty hoops, right? A lot of people, y'all are fooled, and she has y'all fooled. So last championship season, that's March Madness, so last year, 2023, people were so focused on Angel Reese gesturing to her ring finger when LSU won that they kind of forgot that Caitlin had that coming the entire March Madness bracket. Because she was chirpy and doing a whole lot of talking to anybody else. LSU just shut their asses up. So the thing about it is, Angel Reese did not instigate anything. She didn't provoke anything. She reacted. Because after a while, that gets real tiresome real quick. Then this season, instead of talking about Dawn Staley and the South Carolina Gamecocks, who went undefeated, Coach Dawn Staley rebuilt that team from the bottom because all of her starters, I think, went to the WNBA. So she had to rebuild her team. She was undefeated the entire season. Oh, and by the way, won the championship this year. Do you know that was not the discussion? And also, if you look at articles, it's not pictures of Dawn Staley and her girls, her women, her team. It's pictures of Caitlin Clark and how she was, quote unquote, robbed. Girl, I know y'all lying. So the thing about it is y'all have literally set this woman up for failure. But I'm going to keep going. So she had this nice floral, fluffy statement when someone asked her, how does it feel not to be selected for the U.S. Olympic team? She literally just started playing. Girl, it's like she's a new employee. Like, what is happening here? But then you see that juxtaposed to her saying to her coach, they done woke up a monster. So the person who texted their coach, they done woke, or said to their coach, either text or said to their coach, they done woke up a monster. And the person who put out this, who was saying all of these words about how, this game is so great, that don't seem like it's the same person. Probably because the person who texted and or said that to their coach, that is the real person. Caitlin Clark is the person who chirped during the whole March Madness and then ended up losing to LSU. as much as people give Caitlin Clark, and I'm not saying that she's not a good player from what I have seen from other people. I'm sorry, not seen. What I've heard from other people talking, and this is their thing to talk about. This is their genre to discuss. If you want to talk about, like, you know, reality stars and Bravo, Love and Marriage Huntsville, hit me up, boo. I'm ready to talk. But when it comes to the shooty hoops, I'm listening to other people, right? No one is saying that Caitlin Clark is a bad player. No one is saying that. No one has ever said that. What they are saying is that y'all putting 20 on 10 for Caitlin Clark because for some odd reason, y'all couldn't watch the sport without a white woman being at the center. And now you don't want us to say it. But that is literally what's going on here. So that's the background for this. So imagine, one, Stephen A. Smith and his sidekick, G Money Wells, a.k.a. Shannon Sharp, which is disappointing every time I think about it. It started with him getting mad at Monica because Monica was just like, y'all need to stop saying like basically y'all are This is the analytical group that's out there in the interwebs. So on the ESPNs, the FS1s, the YouTubes, you know, social medias, they villainized Angel Reese and victimizes Caitlin Clark. Because y'all talking about this, and no one is saying that the foul on her was not flagrant. No one is saying that. But what they are saying is I noticed that y'all are not having all this discussion about a foul on Angel Reese, another rookie that is talked about in this rookie class. It's funny how y'all don't talk about like how they're like, wait a minute, so is she getting tested too? Because she's also a rookie. If you see a few of the NBA players, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and now Carmelo Anthony, a lot of them say this. A lot of them are very much like this. It's like the women play hard as shit. They actually, Carmelo even said, if you really want to look at like the structure of and I'm paraphrasing, this is not exactly what he said. If you really want to look at the study of basketball, watch the women's game. Now, why would somebody, like, that's the thing. It's like if male NBA players, or just NBA players, let me not say male because there are no female NBA players. They're in that WNBA. Okay. If NBA players show so much high regard for WNBA players, why is it that analysts can't get their heads out of their ass? So the whole tete-a-tete between Shannon Sharp and Monica McNutt was interesting to watch because I watched Stephen A. Smith act like a whole white woman. He literally sat there like Miss Millie said, all the things I do for you people, when he said, who has talked about the WNBA more than First Take? I'm like, girl, I'm pretty sure a actually designated WNBA analyst who has a podcast or a YouTube page probably talks about the WNBA a lot more than you do. So let's try that. But he got actually offended when she said you could be doing more. So the thing about it is that I ask the question, if you are a sports analyst, meaning you talk about all sports, you don't just talk about, like, you're not a football analyst, you're not an NBA analyst, you're a sports analyst, you talk about everything. You talk about all the sports. You talk about, look at that. You talk about golf. You talk about softball. You talk about like college sports. You talk about high school sports. You talk about everything that's out there. Why do you feel like you need somehow a nice little cookie and a participant ribbon because you're talking about a sport something you should be doing anyway? You should be talking about the WNBA. What the fuck is happening right now? So then Stephen A. decided, fast forward, he decided to weaponize, because of his huge platform, coming after Monica. Who does she think she is? A WNBA, a basketball analyst who called you on your shit. Considering that Stephen A. don't have no problem calling anybody on this. So there's that. So then here comes, Bad Boys 4 is coming out. And so Stephen A. Smith has decided that he is going to be the spokesperson for the Black Collective. And when I tell you that at our last quarterly meeting, he was not even on the list of representatives that we said. He is not on that list. I'm not exactly sure who he lied to, what kind of fake credentials he gave, but he does not speak for the black community. He barely speaks for black men that speak on ESPN who got 5 hits. He can only, the thing about it is like, Stephen A., speak for yourself. Will Smith does not owe another discussion about what happened damn near 2 years ago and at the Oscars. Considering that he gave a whole statement, not excusing his behavior, just said, like, I shouldn't have did it, and that's just that. He said, I apologize privately, and I'm doing publicly, because, I mean, the offense, the apology should match the offense. So if you did this publicly, you should apologize publicly, but also probably to the person to show like, hey, I'm not just doing this for stuff. I don't think Chris Rock accepted his apology, and that really is fine, honestly. He has given several different things. We have talked about this. We have dissected this. Let's be very clear. Stephen, he owes nobody nothing. And I can entertain your conversation if we're going to have several conversations with you first. The first thing is, why don't you take, with the whole thing with Chris Rock, why don't you take the stance you did when it came to Ray Rice? Why didn't you go into detail about how provoking someone to violence can lead to somebody having violence on you? You know how you did with Ray Rice's now wife. Oh, that's right. Chris Rock is not a woman, so you respect Chris Rock as a person because he is a man. See, I think Stephen thinks that people they haven't peeped him real quick, or people like him, or men like him, who only will see instances of racism if a black man is the victim of it. This is sidebar, but when it comes to a lot of the black men who have been unalived by police and no kind of justice is done for them, there's a lot of black men who have a lot to say. But when it came to Corinne Gaines, Sandra Bland, didn't see that kind of grace. I still remember the videos of Corinne Gaines and seeing black men commenting, going, you need to listen to the cops. Just do what they tell you to do. I don't know why you think, like, who do you think you are not to listen? And I'm sitting here like, was Corinne being combative in these videos? Yeah. But I've also seen black men being combative in these videos, and y'all saying like, still though, he has no weapon. Corinne ain't have no weapons in that car. And they also talked about, she may have had asbestos poisoning, whether it does or not. Sandra Bland, and the thing about it is documented about her problematic posts, her problematic thoughts that she had before she was unalived. So no one's debating that. But I find it like there were men who had no problem bringing it up. But homeboy that got unalived in his grandmother's backyard, yeah, he didn't like black women. Y'all kind of ignored that. That black man who was killed by his white girlfriend, y'all wanted us to care. And but not that we didn't care. We did care until you seen how he really felt about black women. And black women kind of pulled back and said, y'all got it. And y'all got mad. Get out of my face. Just like, get out of my face. But yeah, Stephen A. reminds me of those kind of dudes. Stephen A. likes the power that he wields at ESPN because of his status at ESPN, because he has been there a very, very long time. But I will say this, he will never, ever be cooler than the other side of the pillow. And people who watch ESPN know exactly who I'm talking about. He will never be him. Ever. He will never be Stuart Scott. Ever. You will not see Stuart Scott loud talk no woman on his show. It's kind of like you yelling at somebody in your own house. You invited them, they are a guest in your home, and you yelling at them. It's like, girl, Yeah, please understand, if you are a woman, do not come to like, this is to me, this is the message you're sending. If I want respect, I better not come to Stephen A. Smith, because he's going to be disrespectful, because I think he disrespected another woman, said, you should listen to me about marketing. I know something. I'm like, sir, you can barely market yourself as someone's boyfriend. Shut up. It's like, you can be quiet. Like, I am just flabbergasted at how disrespectful he is. This whole thing with Will Smith is hilarious. And I'm like, sir, shut up. One, you don't speak for us. And two, we don't care if you don't want to go watch the Bad Boys movie. I promise you, we don't care. You know who else don't care? Will Smith nor Martin Lawrence. They don't care, girl. And they shouldn't. Because it's like, really, Stephen A., let me tell you something. Before you are going to sit here and talk about, like, I can't accept that. I'm like, I can't accept why your bitch ass is sitting here still talking. You're talking about domestic violence when literally your stance on it, when it happened with Ray Rice, was to tell a story about how you told the women in your family, don't provoke no man to violence. Not really calling him out. Not really saying what he was like, oh, it's wrong, but it was kind of like you kind of were dismissive of it, but then basically trying to allude to basically alleging that Ray Rice's wife provoked him to violence because they were arguing. Because maybe it's because he don't have that much experience. He don't realize that couples argue. But if one of these people is literally a machine, and most professional athletes, especially at the caliber at the time that Ray Rice was, they're fucking machines. They're fucking Terminators. So it's like his stance at the time was like ridiculous, and that's why he got suspended. So when he brought it back up for Diddy, I'm like, I know this nigga better shut up. Be quiet, Stephen. You don't speak for nobody. You don't speak for the Black collective. You barely speak for yourself. And we still want you to shut the hell up. How about you stop speaking? Like, don't speak at all. Speak. Look here. Watch somebody dribble. Shut up and watch somebody dribble. Stop talking. Because one, you're ignorant as fuck. And I'm like, hey, hi, Shannon. This is for you. Girl, stop going on this man's fucking show. Because the bad part about it is you're not checking him on shit. Pretend he skipped Bayless. Check his ass. Because the bad part about it is you not checking him. And it's partly because he probably agrees with it. I'm not going to put that on him. But if you are literally not saying, Stephen A., calm the fuck down, or hey, Stephen, like, take it back. If you're not checking your quote unquote friend, your silence indicates agreement. So I would suggest, sir, before, like, the thing about it is you were getting, that's the thing, it turns into birds of a feather flock together. Shannon. So there's that. I was like, can he shut up? Can he leave us? I'm like, the thing about it is, okay. Can he, let me say this. Can he leave us alone? Please leave us alone, sir. That's how I feel. Just kind of leave us alone. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. I don't know why. That was really just bothering me. Because it's like ridiculous to me to watch. I'm like, who in the hell gave, like, Stephen A., you barely speak for the black men that work at ESPN. You can't speak for the Black collective. He don't owe us nothing. If you're saying, like, I feel this way, fine. Speak for your whole self, just yourself, not anybody else. We're not doing this. And I'm just like, okay. Yeah, so there's that. So can I, okay. There's two other things that are bothering me. Well, not bothering me, but just wanted to discuss. Okay, so Michael Rainey who I don't watch Power. I don't. So I didn't really know who he was. But apparently he was on I guess he's Tariq. I had to look him up because I'm like, I don't know who Michael Rainey is. So he was on like a live stream, and the streamer's sister like walked up, like there were like kids, like he was standing behind 3 children. And the streamer's sister walked up and literally like, I guess, groped him. So I don't know if she like just kind of cupped him or put her hand. I'm like, I couldn't tell. I'm not going to go back and watch this video. And homeboy left right after that. He left. So then it came out to a discussion. So he put out this on his Instagram. At this point, everyone has seen the video circulating online. I'm still in shock and don't fully know how to process what happened last night. This is an unfortunate situation that I do not condone in any way. I can't take it lightly because I know I would be in serious trouble if the roles were reversed. The fact is, sexual assault is never okay, regardless of gender or status. We're all human and we should respect each other. Most importantly, we should always respect ourselves. He's correct. SA is never okay, regardless of gender or status. Here is the point where it's kind of like there's a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of activists who talk about SA and rape and sexual harassment are kind of squinting. I can't take it lightly because I know I would be in serious trouble if the roles were reversed. Here's the thing. There have been videos, there have been streams. We're just doing this because we know Michael Rainey. If you think that there haven't been women who have been on streams who have been essayed, I've got a park in New York to sell you. The thing about it is that a lot of people notice that when women talk about SA and SH and that kind of violence, it's met with, well, what were you wearing? Or it's not taken all that seriously. Or it's like, well, it's par for the course for y'all. But then all of a sudden, if it is a man who is SA'd or sexually harassed, all of a sudden y'all understand boundaries and how, hey, do not touch people if they have not given you permission in some sort of way. It could be verbal or nonverbal. But if you're not given permission to touch somebody, you shouldn't be touching them. It's interesting y'all can understand that because I've watched how there's some men talking about gay men and how they feel sexually harassed. I'm like, it's interesting you understand that when it's you mean a man saying something to you unwarranted, they're just saying something nasty to you while you're walking down the street. Oh my gosh, wow. How should you handle that? Should you just be nice? Should you just give them their number anyway just so they won't harm you? Oh. And the thing about it is, me saying it this way does not mean that what happened to him was not okay. Because when I watched, like, I didn't examine the video. I seen the video. The first time he's like, whoa, what is happening here? Because it's like, homegirl came out of nowhere. I'm like, wait a minute. Because at first when they said it, I thought they were saying it was his sister had touched him. I'm like, that is so weird. I'm like, oh, wait. They're saying the streamer's sister touched this man. And it's like, could we add into maybe there being him because he's a celebrity? Sure. That still does not mean you should be touched. I don't give a good goddamn. I still remember, and this happened to Cardi B. Cardi B was walking through maybe somewhere in Vegas or like a casino. Somebody came out of nowhere and grabbed her butt. And she was pissed. And someone said, well, look at the way you dressed. I'm like, time out, homie. it's like, well, I mean, look at the way you, like, someone was like, coming, like, I mean, like, if you dress this way, I'm like, girl, it don't matter. Now, if I'm looking at Michael Rainey, he's not dressed in a way that says, please touch me. Most people who get touched and harassed and assaulted, they're not wearing a sign that says, please touch me, I don't care. That's not how this happens. People SA people because they think they can. This is not about like I'm like, oh, I'm like, I can do it because I have permission. No, they're doing it because they think they can just do it. That's it. And what happened to him is foul as hell. But to do the whole, if the roles were reversed, baby, are you kidding me? Check the stats. The roles they've been reversed fourfold. Like, we're not going to do this with you. You don't have to do this. Like, what if this was a woman thing? It's like, it has happened. And y'all kind of make excuses for it. Yeah, like the thing about it is if like, I don't think you want us to do this role reverse. Because the first thing you ask is like, well, I mean, why didn't you smack him? Why didn't you just like tell him no? Why didn't you like do more? Why are you laughing? See, you ain't got no big issue. You laughing. You ain't all that mad. You know how y'all did with Will Smith when literally he did a awkward laugh and did not realize that, hey, how he looked at his wife was like, oh, wait, shit, this shit ain't funny. Because she ain't just laugh it off because she was offended. And then it's like, why is my lady offended? And why? And the thing about, shut up, Stephanie, shut up. Yeah. So the thing about the roles are reversed. Oh, baby, the conversation would be different. I don't think y'all want us to do this. So should this woman get charges of sexual assault? Yep. Is it going to happen? Probably. Are men going to be championing for her to get charges on sexual assault? Yep. People, they're going to act very fake about this. Very fake. But it's like, it's so bothersome because the thing about it is, as a woman, this is the part that I think people don't realize. As a black woman, and I've talked to quite a few, and I've been one for quite some time. Either you are someone who has been a victim of sexual assault or sexual harassment, or you know a woman who has. And you know what the funny part is? If you talk to a black man, they don't know no man who's ever sexually harassed or sexually assaulted a woman. So it's kind of like, do you think it's just like a sleeper cell of men traipsing along the U.S. and abroad coming after these women? What do y'all think? Like, seriously. A large amount of black women either are a victim or know someone who has been a victim of sexual assault or sexual violence, but no black man knows anybody. Okay. All right. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. I think the last thing I probably want to like touch and then just walk away. It's about Bravo High Notes. Okay. So Summer House, their reunion is going on. Part 2 is happening this upcoming Thursday, or it's out depending on what day this drops. So in the first part, and during like this season and also in the after show, Lindsay has intimated that Carl has yelled at her. You watched as her castmates, majority of them didn't believe her. It's like, girl, Lindsay don't look like she take like yelling from somebody. And I'm like, two things can be true. A person can yell, but they can also be yelled at. That's actually kind of weird that you think Carl is so meek and mild that he don't yell at people. This is how I know that a lot of you started Summer House when Hannah and Paige got there. Because y'all are missing it. But then you also should see it because you should look at how he treated Jules. Season 4. Oh. you've seen him like, and I think it's probably because they've seen him yell, like maybe yell and get in arguments with men, so they don't think he would ever yell. Yeah, girl, y'all don't know anybody behind closed doors. We don't. So if someone's saying that, it's like, but she wasn't saying it like he was abusive, but she just said he yelled at him. It's like, the thing about it is, because if Carl said Lindsay yelled at him, you're like, oh yeah, well yeah, because we've seen it, because she has no problem doing it on camera. So a lot of people were just trying to like basically insinuate that she was lying. And then here comes Captain Lee, formerly of Summer House, Below Deck. He was very much a Team Rad House, which was Carl and Lindsay's, I guess, name for a little while. It seemed like he was very, very, invested. He formed a friendship with Carl because of Carl's newly cemented sobriety, and also Captain Lee losing his son because of a drug overdose. I believe it's drug overdose. Yeah, because I don't think it was his son didn't unalive himself. I think he did OD. And I'll double check to make sure. So it's like they formed like a bond. And I think people were noticing that Captain Lee wasn't really saying anything about, Carl and Lindsay. He didn't really say anything. So I guess he addressed it in his podcast and basically said that Carl had yelled at him about an interview. So he was going to do like an interview on Captain Lee's podcast. He said it was a softball interview. It wasn't like anything like it was like hard questions. It was he said it was a softball interview, right? So I guess maybe he didn't like the way the interview sounded. Ooh. So apparently he, I guess dug in Captain Lee's ass about this. And I think it's kind of like, I think it happened a little while ago, or maybe it didn't, because he seemed very much like, this is just how it was. Very matter of fact, nothing happened. Didn't see too many people trying to insinuate that Captain Lee was lying. Or it's like, now, you don't let somebody yell at you. I think what I'm starting to hear when it comes to Carl is because people don't expect it. And like the thing about it is, if people don't expect a certain thing from you, it throws them off when it happens. Like if somebody who, sorry, hold on. Okay, sorry. If somebody behaves in a way that you've never seen them before, it's going to throw you off. You're like, I'm sorry, are you yelling at me right now? Like, what's happening? So that may have been what happened. I'm just kind of spitballing here. So when Captain Lee was talking about this, it came out, people like it wasn't a big cavalcade of people saying that Captain Lee was lying. So I had just quote tweeted, so y'all gonna call Captain Lee a liar too. And so I think because there have been a few questionable things about Captain Lee, that he's moved funny on a certain couple things, because I know for a little while when Captain Lee would say that he, when people would bring up stuff that happens on the show, like, you didn't know this, he would say no. I think people kind of alluded to he may be lying about that. I can't say if he is or isn't, right? And then the whole thing with Siggy Flicker about basically her sharp turn and the only redeem, like I could say, like, Lord have mercy, that lady is woo 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 woo. However, she was right about Margaret Josephs. I was like, that's the only redeeming thing. I can say that Siggy is not my people. I don't F with her. That has nothing to do with her being right about a certain person on a certain show. Both things can be true. Person can be extremely problematic, and they're not lying about this. That's what I guess that was what I was trying to look at. Maybe I didn't use enough words. But the whole thing with Summer House is going to be very interesting because the people who literally should not be commenting on anybody's relationship seemingly has to have a whole lot to say. Amanda, you can be quiet. You're married to Kyle Cook. You're the last person to talk about anybody's relationship, ma'am. That man literally cheated on you before you got engaged. Also, your parents weren't gung-ho about him either. And we actually saw your parents say that. So there's that. Y'all having an opinion on Rad House is hilariously funny. Kyle can be quiet. Kyle, because the thing about it is what we saw on the first part of Reunion is that literally Carl leaned into the fact that the fandom either hates or loves to hate Lindsay, and you would just believe the bad thing about Lindsay. You'll just believe it. Because the whole thing with the flower boy, Carl said it was because of Lindsay. Technically, that is not what happened. Kyle was not even included. And you weren't going to include him. It was like, because the thing about it is, like, Kyle, I'm like, unless they just edited it out and it wasn't in the extended version, how come you didn't feel away when Lindsay flat out said, when he said between the three guys, Kyle, Andrea, and Luke, who would you include? He said, Andrea, you ain't got jack shit to say. I find it hilarious. You want to know why Carl didn't say anything? Because he knew she wasn't lying. Lindsay gets real activated by a lot of shit, but you don't see her lying about too much. We can do this debate about was she mean to the people that watch What Happens Live or during BravoCon. We can sit here and have this debate. But unless you bring me some hard evidence, I'm not believing it. But the thing about it is people will believe it, one, because Amanda is the one who said it, which is very weird. Weird and not weird at the same time. And also, she's the one who said it, and you didn't hear nothing else other than her saying it. It's like, I'm so confused at this point. Like, I don't understand. Paige's consistent, like, I'm going to find a reason with Lindsay is hilarious to me, but also not hilarious to me. You're saying that, and you're basing this on Carl, who flat out lied to his own really best friend, one of his really good friends. He lied to him in his face, lied on that after show. And then here come the reunion. I'm like, so y'all not going to call him the fact that he just fucking lied? He just lied. He lied on Lindsay several different times. The only thing I will give Carl is that when it came to the whole thing, him leaving Loverboy, he didn't blame her. Because I think what would have happened, Lindsay would have hit the goddamn roof. She'd be like, girl. So the good thing, that's probably the one thing he was truthful about. Because that's what we saw last season. Carl was the one who was complaining. I don't understand why Carl is sitting here going like, why are you not really... Even though she said it to Kyle, like she basically is basically telling a story that she had with Kyle. Notice he didn't say that she was lying either, because she's not lying. She's not lying on these people. So why the thing about it is people are leaning into the fandom hating or loving to hate Lindsay. So that's why Paige can go like, oh, she tried to sabotage my photo shoot. But then when Carl tells the story, I'm like, so that really sounds like the friend and not Lindsay. We mean sabotage. It sounds like it had already happened. And then they're just like, I don't understand why she's having it here. Like, does she know you're my friend? I feel like it's a fair question, but honestly, I wouldn't have cared. I'm like, girl, it did the money spend. But it also, she just worked there. It wasn't her business. Neither here nor there. It's like, and the thing about the whole thing with Danielle and her like leaking to Dumois, and then her saying, I thought we were saying we weren't going to talk about each other's back. Girl, that predates y'all conversation. We are not talking, I'm not rehashing nothing with you, but also let's be very clear. That clip happened when it was during the summer. You did not work out your issues with Lindsay until the fall/winter. That shit don't count. Danielle, please. And the bad part about it is, if this shoe was on the other foot, I can't believe this. I said earlier in the day, I'm like, oh, we're not going to do this whole roles reversed. But if the shoe was on the foot, please understand, Paige would have wanted an apology. Do you see Lindsay asking for one? I don't think I would have either. But the thing about it is, it's like, how come y'all not cocking this? I'm like, so basically, Paige kept like swore up and down it was Lindsay and Carl. Swore up and down. I know. And now you found out it's Danielle. And you still are not apologizing to Lindsay and to low hanging fruit Carl and saying, I'm sorry for blaming y'all for something that y'all didn't do. You still have not apologized to her. And I know they're doing their podcast and they're talking about justice for Hannah. We're not doing this unless we're going to talk about Hannah talking about somebody's mental health and drug use on her podcast and then trying to strip it from the internet and try to act like she didn't do that shit. This ain't about Kyle Cook. I'm not doing this with y'all. No, there is no justice for Hannah. I think she attacked Carl's mental health, or was it Luke's? And then Carl's drug use. And then tried to get that scrubbed from the internet. Yeah, Kyle didn't get her kicked off this show. Homegirl left. Or maybe he did kick her out. I don't know. I'm not doing this with Hannah. The other thing is the West and Sierra. I could write a whole gang of encyclopedias onto why it was utterly ridiculous that we're sitting here acting like this mediocre white man is just the second coming and what we need for Sierra. I said it myself, that Sierra is way too pretty to be dealing with this because this hood booger bullshit with West. Who is, girl, I cannot with this person. I cannot. He's not that fine. Like, if it was Jesse Solomon, I'd be like, okay, girl. I'm just kidding. I just like the song. What would Jesse Solomon do? Jesse Solomon would be wooing Sierra Miller. There's that. Because Jesse Solomon does not fall into the he's not handsome, he's just tall category. He is handsome and tall. That's the category that he is in. So the whole thing with West, I'm like, there are a lot of people who weren't sold on West. Full disclosure, I didn't watch this season like every week. I literally binged maybe 8 or 9 episodes over a weekend and then caught up before the reunion. Honestly, because I was like, I got to take a break. Only because I knew what people were going to do, because it's going to go back to love to hate or hate Lindsay and ignore literally the bloody red flags coming out of Carl Radke. By the end of the season, I literally said, yeah, that workers twin that busted a whole watermelon in front of his bedroom is starting to make a lot more sense. Because Carl make you want to slap him. Or bust a watermelon in front of his bedroom. Because that's how frustrated he made her. But again, an activated workers twin. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm like, Carl is a walking red flag, because the thing about it is, this was the other thing. Because I'm trying to get all this out in, I think all of my thoughts, right? So everybody's talking about the whole term blindsided. She was not blindsided. Can I tell you, I feel like it's me and Ezell and a couple of other people who probably can we give you the reason why we think she was blindsided? So here's the deal. 2 weeks before the wedding was canceled, he showed up as a surprise to her bridal shower. Does that sound like somebody who was contemplating not getting married? No. That Sunday, that last weekend before, basically the last weekend and cameras were supposed to come down. That Sunday, Carl and Lindsay were in the kitchen. They were cleaning. Lindsay flat out said to him, do you want to get married? He said yes. Okay. Now, she asked him. She had given him out several times during the season. And I must say, one of the mistakes that maybe I think Lindsay made, but I can't even, I don't know how concrete this is. because because we Leo because Leos are stubborn, and I know people under the sound of my voice. I know quite a few people. If y'all can find a way, I'm going to ask for some help because I know I might have to reach out to some people. I'm going to ask them to do something for me. If you can find a way for me and Lindsay Hubbard to have an interview on Mocha Minutes in some way, because she and I have the same birthday, August 11th, I would love you for quite a long time. I would love you a long time. I would be the Gabby to your Lindsay. I would be the Katie to your Ariana. I'd be a lot. Okay? I would love you forever. But as a Leo, we are stubborn as hell. And that includes bad situations. We will see this shit through and it's like, and then basically leave it to the other person. When in actuality, let's be very clear, Lindsay, you should have dropped Carl off literally Memorial Day. If I'm being honest, this should have never been Carl's decision. It should have been hers. Because there's too many red flags with Carl, and we're stubborn. We're like, we're gonna see this through. We are loyal. And the thing about it is, if she had called it off, they would have been like, Rah! I get it. I get why she didn't do it. I kind of wish that she did not leave this up to Carl, because Carl is too wishy-washy. Carl has no problem having hard conversations as long as he is not. As long as he's not one of the points having the conversation, meaning like he's not the 2 points of contention. He has no problem watching a Danielle and a Lindsay fight. Because, hard conversation, right? But I can watch it. As long as he's not a participant, he's fine to have the conversation. When he becomes a participant, then it becomes an issue. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm such a doormat. No, you're a baby back bitch. You're a bitch ass. Okay? People pleaser my ass. Because if that was the case, you be doing, the person that you be trying to please is the person that you wanted to fucking marry. So no, you're not a people pleaser. You're a baby back bitch. West is a baby back bitch too, and I think I get why Paige was dug up his ass. What I think she may be forgetting is that, because she's been doing this for a few years, is that she doesn't realize the power that comes from going from relatively unknown. Because she had a little bit of a following before she got on Summer House. Not a big one. I don't think she realizes how somebody who looked like Wes, the power of now notoriety and people actually liking you. Like, you weren't a villain. People actually liked him. So yeah, you could see that happening, and he didn't know what to do. The thing about this is that Sierra, she basically seems very prudish. Is not the word I want to think. I hope people don't think that. I think she's a little bit more traditional about her dating, only because I have a feeling she rushed into clapping cheeks with some of these dudes too quickly. So that's why she's not doing it no more. Because I think she rushed with Fluke. I think she rushed with Austin. And she's like, girl, I am not doing this again with no white dude on Summer House, Winter House, Southern Charm, Below Deck, wherever the hell they are. I'm not doing this again. So she slowed it down. Because they were fucking in the fall. With no cameras. So West started getting attention. And then it was like, hey, I'm like, can we keep this fast and loose? And it's like, look at me. And look at you, look at me again, look at my Instagram. Girl, fuck you. I would be the same way as Paige as with Sierra. Because I'd be like, I wish that. I'm like, don't you cry over him. Fuck him. And I'm like, fuck you and fuck you forever. I'm sorry, it'd be fuck you forever. So I would react the way that Paige reacted to Sierra. Like, I don't see an issue. Paige, what I will say I have an issue with is you coming at Gabby. Now, let me get this straight. You have basically people celebrated you coming after Wes for hurting your friend. and you are acting weird and calling Gabby a puppet because Carl fucked over her friend. If Gabby is Lindsay's puppet, you are Sierra's. And the fact that some people don't see it that way is actually kind of interesting. Like, well, that's different. No, yeah, it is kind of different. Lindsay has known Carl for 8 fucking years. This is a situationship that happened over the summer. Just weigh this a little bit differently, shall we? Y'all actually should be more like a Gabby, like, fuck Carl. Because when him and Paige didn't work out, I don't remember people going like, Paige, like, girl, stop. It was more like, oh no, I can feel this way. This is how I feel. Fuck Carl. Yeah. I think we have 1 or 2 more parts of the Summer House reunion. So let's see how that goes. But guys, thanks for listening. I appreciate you. And everybody, have a good week.